your book, sir?
Okay, signal processing first. One of the things that we wanted to do with it was be able to introduce students to signal processing, digital signal processing, very early in the curriculum. Traditionally, you would learn DSP after you've done continuous time, which usually follows circuits,
Right.
which pushes it late in the curriculum.
Right.
This one, we were able to show that you could do it first. You could do it in maybe the second-year students.
Right.
They have enough math background that they could learn this stuff and learn it early. One of the reasons for doing that is that I find it's easy to motivate the material. There's so many digital things out there that the students use every day, from digital cell phones to MP3 players, high-definition television. So there's a lot of very practical examples out there, and in the text we can draw on some of those. We can do some simple image processing and understand images as just a matrix of numbers, things they've seen in their other classes, and do some manipulation on those things. We can do a lot of examples using MATLAB or LabVIEW, where they can actually listen to the signals and hear the effects of running the filters on those. See what happens with that. And we find that tends to help motivate a lot more. They're not just these abstract concepts, not just formulas, but you actually hear or see what it's doing.
Now, my second question is, what are the new trends in the DSP these days?
Yeah, a question about new trends in DSP. I think one of the trends we're seeing is there's a lot more embedded processors, and we're finding it may not necessarily be new DSP algorithms being implemented, but it's showing up in new places. So certainly they've been in cell phones and places like that, but now you're finding it in running shoes to analyze how your foot's hitting the ground, or what your cadence is, things like that, very practical places. There's all sorts of embedded processors in an automobile. I've heard high-end automobiles can easily have 50 processors in it. And you may have a couple controlling the engine. There's a lot of signal processing there, trying to decide when to shift the transmission or what the air-fuel ratio is. A lot of places like that. So I think one of the trends is there's a lot of DSP, and now because embedded processors are so cheap, it's showing up in all sorts of common everyday things.
And so how to make this course more interesting among students and the faculty, sir?
I think what makes it more interesting is when they can see examples that relate to stuff they do every day.
Okay.
So if they're accustomed to playing music on an MP3 player, we create examples that they're manipulating sounds. We have some labs in here where we show them how to read sheet music, and then they synthesize that. And they can experiment with how the sounds are, adjusting the envelope of the sounds, of the individual notes, adding harmonics, experimenting with things like that. We turn it around and we can create, give them a wave file that maybe there's some interfering tones, and they're learning about filters. They can learn how to notch out those tones and make the sound better. So things like that, real practical things.
Now, so my final question is, we would like to have your message or advice for the young faculties and the students.
So for young faculty and students here in India, and it may be the same for anywhere. There's a lot of interesting things out there, and I think in your studies you got to find things that interest you and pursue them. It'd be much easier. I find a lot of interesting things involve digital signal processing and things like that, and so you can, I think, fairly easily find application to a lot of the math and stuff that you're learning. If you're a faculty, as you're devising examples for the class, there's a lot of interesting things out there that you can bring in. I think your students could get engaged with.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for giving us this short interview, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.